Hello and welcome to Sydney Visa. It's no secret that the Australian migration program is well developed. The economy here is growing fast and that requires a workforce. Therefore, qualified international specialists are always in demand here. So, how can a qualified professional move to Australia? Let's have a look. It's a special path for people that has specific skills. It's called a skill migration pathway. Under this skill migration pathway, we can find visas like 189, 190, and 491. They are quite similar, but also they have some differences. Let's have a look to these visas more closely. They have some criteria. The first criteria is the cut-off age, that is 45 years old. If you are 45 or over, you cannot apply for this visa. Second criteria, level of English. You need to have an equivalent of 6.6 in IELTS or have a passport of USA, UK, New Zealand, Canada or Ireland. Third, occupation. The occupation needs to be in the Australian Combined Occupation List. That is controlled by the Australian government. Number 4, point. All of these visas are point tests and you need to have a minimum of 65 points that you can get by your age, level of English, work experience, education, etc. Now let's talk about the difference between visas 189, 190 and 491. And I'm going to start with the visa 189, that is Australian Permanent Resident Visa. This visa allows you to apply for Australian citizenship after 4 years, and the countdown begins from the moment that you arrive to Australia. This visa is called independent, but what does it mean? Independent means that you don't need any sponsor or nomination from any state, region, or even employer. You just need to get 65 points on the point test and also get invited by the Department of Immigration. Minimum action, maximum effect. But let me tell you something that is important to take into account. Not every single occupation is in the Australian occupation list. And also, at the moment, to get invited, you need around 90 points. Depending on the occupation, maybe you are going to need more points, like an accountant. Accountant is on demand, is more competitive, so you need more than 100 points. And other ones, like a plaster, you need just around 70 points to get invited. With this visa 189, you are going to get Medicare and Permanent Resident Visa. So, if you travel outside Australia during this period of time, these 5 years, and you are still outside Australia after the year number 5, and you want to return to Australia, you need to apply for a resident return visa. But if you are in Australia and you don't travel overseas, you can stay with this visa 189 in Australia indefinitely. Now let's talk about visa 190. It's a permanent resident visa, but as well it's a sponsor visa. You need a sponsor from an Australian state or territory. As soon as you get your sponsor, you can apply for the visa 190 with the Department of Immigration. This visa is going to give you 5 extra points, but remember, every single state has their own occupation list, criteria for nomination, and also some of them require a job offer from an Australian employer. Before you apply, remember to check every single of the criteria. If you met the criteria that they're asking for, you can apply for that state. Now, visa 189 and visa 190 are quite similar, but visa 190 requires that you stay in a specific state between 2 to 4 years. Some people, after 1 year, they try to move to another state. And it's a big problem because your visa can be cancelled. The requirement is you need to be in the same state between 2 to 4 years. Now, visa 491. Visa 491 is similar to visa 190. It's a sponsor visa. You are going to get a sponsor, but not by a state. You are going to get a sponsor by a region. What does it mean? By a region means that you can live and work in a specific region, but not in Melbourne, not in Sydney, not in Brisbane. Why? Because everyone wants to move to Melbourne, Sydney, or Brisbane, and the government want to promote another states and another cities. So let's give an example. Victoria. Capital of Victoria is Melbourne. With visa 190, you can live anywhere in Victoria, including Melbourne. With visa 491, you can live anywhere in Victoria, but not in Melbourne. Okay? With visa 491, after 4 years, you can get as well an Australian citizenship. After 3 years, you can apply for visa 191, that is the permanent resident visa. But you need to meet 3 criteria. Live in the same state for minimum 3 years, be in visa 491 for minimum 3 years, and have a minimum salary per year of $55,000. If you don't meet one of these criteria, you cannot apply for a permanent residency. Be careful. Visa 191 is no point test, and you can apply even if you reach 45 years when you were holding the visa 491. So let's remember, visa 491 is a temporary. 5 years you can stay in this visa. But after year number 3, you can apply for the permanent resident visa, visa 191. So 3 years as a temporary, 1 year as a permanent, and you can apply for an Australian citizenship. Now let's talk about benefits. Let's talk about health insurance and Medicare. You can get access to public health if you hold one of these visas, 189, 190, and 491. This is a benefit that people start to receive from 2019. Previously, people that used to hold the visa 489, the previous 491, used to pay for the health insurance and Medicare. Now let's talk about education. If you hold a temporary visa, you have to pay for the education of your kids, for the kindergarten or the high school or the university. Example, you hold a visa 491, you are coming to Australia, and your kid needs to go to kindergarten. You need to pay the full price, that is around $150 per day in cities like Melbourne, Brisbane, Perth, Sydney. But if you are a permanent resident, you are going to receive a benefit from the government. You are going to save around 85% of that amount. Now, high school. The price of high school depends on the state and the school. If you are a temporary resident, you need to pay for the full price. It can be $5,000, $10,000, or $15,000, even if it's public schools. Now, universities, the normal price can be $25,000, $30,000 per year. However, if you are permanent resident or you hold an Australian citizenship, you can receive some benefits from the government. But if you are in a temporary resident, let me tell you, you have to pay full price for education. All of these 3 types of visas allow you to bring your spouse and children, but you cannot bring your parents or siblings. Now let's talk about the cost. How much money I have to pay if I want to apply for one of these type of visas. The visa application cost is around 4,045 Australian dollar. However, if you are applying for a visa 189 or 190, you need to take into account that you have to pay some extra money for the state sponsorship application. Also, if you hold a visa 491, in a couple of years you need to apply for a visa 191, that is the permanent resident visa, and that is another amount of money. So it's a lot of information. I know it's a lot of information, but if you have any question, please contact us ask, and we are more than happy to help you and support you with your process. Let's remember, Sydney Visa always is here to support you and help you. Follow us in Instagram, here in YouTube, and remember, good health and good mood, and see you soon.